Hi there, I'm Kym Coco, founder of Swagtail and the Flexible Golfer program. Today's restorative slash yin slash myofascial release class is going to be definitely slow in nature, definitely some longer held postures with props, and we're going to go ahead and do something that I'm absolutely obsessed with lately, which is kind of releasing this whole area of the core, aiding in digestion, letting go of tension, because I don't know about you if you encounter stress, but I tend to harbor it in my gut. And instead of just letting it go, sometimes it takes me longer. So these twisting sequences, even in this more calm format, can really just shake off whatever happened in the day and get you started on the right foot for the next one. And being that this is a start of a new year, you can use this as well to just hit the reset button. I am obsessed with this sequence lately. I've been doing it almost every night. It's a great way to turn inward and also get ready to sleep. So these twists also bring out some of that extra mental chatter. So if that's you, then let's go ahead and get started. I recommend a bolster, a couple blankets or towels, folded. I have these folded in a longer rectangular shape. We'll leave two that way, and we're going to fix one in a second. 2 myofascial release balls by Rad Roller. Tennis balls will work as well. And if you don't have these, we'll have a substitute posture that you can put in play. I don't want you to skip this entire class just because you don't have these. And then also a block. So this is really going to be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Now, take one of your blankets right now, unfold it, and we're going to roll it up. So you want to create a roll that's a couple inches in diameter. So you can start with it thicker. We're going to eventually place it right between the lower ribs and the pelvic, the front of the pelvis. So these frontal hip bones here. So go ahead and move your props aside. Everything except, I'm going to decide which side I'm going to put them on. I'm going to set these to the back. And we're going to go ahead and move your props. I promise we're going to need all of them in the near future. But we're going to go ahead and start with the single roll, just so that it's parallel to the short edge of your mat, about midway up the mat. And you're going to come to lie on your belly so that the roll fits right again above those frontal hip bones and below the rib cage. So that will help you decide how far you want to rest, how far down you want to go, or how big you're going to need that roll. Okay, you little bit. I just told Daddy-O you weren't going to bug me, and you are already. Plan on staying out there all day. Now, the good news is you can stay up here. Now, to keep this easier, you can stay here in a Sphinx-like pose. You can also grab your block and you can rest your head on the block. Keep in mind that further down you come with the torso closer to the ground, it's going to intensify the stretch. And we're going to be here for a few minutes. And essentially, you're compressing everything in your abdomen, all those internal organs. And you might even feel a nice pulse in the abdomen as well. Again, we're using this as a way to clean out, to wring out, to let go of what no longer serves you. Ideally, this is going to maybe be a little uncomfortable, but there shouldn't be pain, okay? So we want to stay where you can rest comfortably. If you're up in Sphinx, make sure you can melt the shoulders down the back. You can always come down a little bit lower, maybe stack fists on top of one another or in front of one another and bring your head down. You might even turn your head to one side, and you can switch halfway through. I'll tell you when we're there. So we're going to be here for a few minutes. I know, don't hit the reset button or find another class just because I said that. Ideally, invite this as a time to challenge yourself in a new way, to face a situation, because these happen in life, where it's not your favorite, but it builds character. And you learn something in the process about yourself, about the world, maybe how to do something better, or just to know yourself better. So, wherever you're at, can you imagine your entire body melting toward the ground? As though this entire abdominal region could just wrap around your roll. And with every breath out, you can feel the roll occupying the space where the breath has gone out. And as you breathe in, you can feel this light pressure moving into the roll, creating a nice compression in the abdomen. So notice if you can find a supportive rhythmic breath right from the beginning. Can you soften in and let the low back get heavier with every breath out? And even inflate a little bit more as the lungs expand when you breathe in. If you have your head to one side and want to switch it, do so now. Otherwise, see if you can stay where you're at. Ideally, every time we're here in a posture during this class, you want to find a 50 to 60 to maybe 70% stretch, one in which you can stay, one in which you can breathe deeply and methodically. We're using this not just as a way to clear out, but do so mindfully. It's kind of like cleaning out your closet. It's spring cleaning or cleaning out the garage. You go through these items one by one and discard what you don't need. Likely you don't go in and just take everything off the shelves in one fell swoop and put it in the trash. I'll be mindful of what you're working with today. Helps to be aware of where tension exists so that you can start to know your habits. And if these habits aren't serving you, we can start to make changes. And the slow-paced practice reminds us that it doesn't have to be done all at once. The changes don't have to be like the flip of a switch or the blink of an eye. You can rest and ease your way into it. Take 2 more cycles of breath here. Use your inhale to slowly press your way back up. And pause for a moment, just sitting in Vajrasana, sitting on your heels and breathing effortlessly, noticing any changes around your torso from just a few short minutes of compression. All the postures we'll be taking today will really start to shift the fascia, the connective tissue. Start to relay that collagen down in a more harmonious pattern where disharmony existed previously. Stimulate healing, cohesion, but maybe not cohesion in the right way, coherence. We want coherence where there's that rhythmic pattern, even communication. Getting rid of those cohesions where there's stuckness. As you're ready here, blink your eyes open. Take your roll now to the top of your mat. Grab your 2 folded blankets, place them about a foot behind the roll, and this is where we're going to start. We'll start on your left side first. So you're going to come and take your torso. You're actually going to come into this lounging position where the right knee stacks about mid left calf. And you're going to elongate the whole left side of the body and come down so that the left armpit is over the roll. So ideally, you're going to elongate the left side of the body as you're here. And this whole right shoulder has some space. So really the blankets are underneath the ribs. And then this roll will become like your pillow. If this is too low, grab one of your blocks. So we're starting with a stretch on the side of the body here. And we'll start with a little bit of movement first. So with your right arm by your side, inhale, take your right arm forward, up overhead as you inhale. And then as you exhale, bend the elbow and maybe open your chest toward the ceiling as you breathe back out. So 2 more times, just like that, inhaling, reaching the right arm around, up as you inhale, exhale, bend the elbow, retract the right shoulder blade, and come all the way down. So a little bit of movement first before we settle in. Inhale, right arm up and around. Exhale, down, opening up a touch more here. And then as you come back and finish the exhale, right hand by your right hip. Inhale, reach the right arm up, flip the palm toward your head, and then exhale, stretch up and over with the right hand. And maybe the right arm just rests over your ear. Again, it can rest on a block or something a little higher if right over your head is not comfortable. And then you might even rock a little side to side until you find a position where you're literally right on the lateral edge of your body. And then how can you settle in? And now you've noticed that we've moved the compression from under the abdomen with the blanket to that of the left side ribs. So as you inhale a little more consciously, breathe in to the left side ribs, create the space between the ribs and lightly press down into your blankets. And then as you exhale, let the weight of your body settle back down. As you breathe mindfully into the left side of the body, notice how the right side expands as well. Creating a little bit of space underneath the right armpit as well as the right lat. Right side body. Let the whole left line get heavier still. And simply find an even rhythmic breath that can support you here. Get in here, Goose. Get in. Come on, come on, come on. Go lay down. Take a few more cycles of breath here. On your next inhale, reach your right arm up toward the sky. And now we're going to open it up to the right side of you, coming into an open twist. And you might even have to shift your hips a little bit more to the left and maybe readjust your torso so that more of your upper back can rest on the blankets beneath you. If this is too uncomfortable where the right arm is in space, then maybe you take a block under your right arm and help support it. But otherwise, notice how this open twist can find that perfect balance between a supportive, heavy, twisted posture that might seem a little uncomfortable in the sense that it's harder to breathe deeply. But at the same time, you get this expansive, wide open heart and opening in the front of the chest and the shoulders, and even maybe slightly in the throat, as there's the slightest hint of a back bending element in this twist. Take a deep inhale and fill up. Notice the blanket supporting the back of the body now, and exhale back out. Find another round of even, rhythmic breathing that you can sustain. A nice pace in and out through the nose. And keep your focus there as you let the body rest. And just by being here, can you notice any opening taking place? I know that many times in stress we close down and we narrow our focus and we lose sight of possibilities. So just by being here and stepping back, inviting the parasympathetic nervous system to take over and a broader focus to occupy the mind, you welcome in a space for new ideas and new ways of seeing the world, new ways of your body expressing itself in a more vibrant and healthy way, new ways of being and moving in the world. So with every round of breath, observe that expansive nature infiltrating this pose. On your next inhale, fill up deeply. As you exhale, let it go through the nose or the mouth. At the end of the exhale, slowly roll back over onto your left side. Take your right hand to the floor and slowly press your way up to a seat. And we're going to go right to the second side on this one. So I'm going to switch directions so you can see me a little bit better. But you can just turn and face in the direction you are on your mat. Start by setting up your legs in a similar fashion you had for the first side. Start by allowing the right hand to rest down and feel this extensive length on the whole right side of the body. And maybe move your right hip away from that stack of blankets so that the right armpit rests on the other side and there's space between the pelvis and the blanket. So you get a little bit of a nice traction with gravity here. And then your head can rest either on the roll of the blanket or on a block. And you'll start with the left hand resting on the left side and we'll move first. So inhale, reach that left arm forward and up. As you exhale, maybe open the torso slightly and take a cactus arm all the way down with the left and breathe it out. So 2 more just like that. Inhale, circle forward and up. Exhale, open, bend the elbow, retract the left shoulder blade. 1 more time. Inhaling, opening up first. Exhale, back, down, and open. Inhale, this time take your left arm straight up toward the ceiling, turn the palm overhead, and reach that left arm over. And you might have to move a little side to side on the right side body to find where you're literally even front to back. So you're not rolling forward and you're not leaning back, and you're just literally resting the right side of the ribs on this blanket. And we've got a couple minutes here. So notice how your rhythmic breathing can give you a sense of stability and comfort here. Notice maybe how differences right to left manifest around the ribs and how they affect your breathing. Notice how there can simultaneously be a heaviness in the body on the right side and a spaciousness on the left. And how even softening the hands and the space behind the eyes and even the space between the toes can add a bit more levity and ease in the posture. Just keep breathing here with your mind focused on that rhythm of breath. Deepen your breath if you can here for a few more cycles without bringing in tension to the body. And then you're following in breath, reach the right arm up toward, the left arm toward the ceiling. Whoop! On your next inhale, reach the left arm up toward the ceiling and roll onto the back as the left arm reaches up and over to the left. And maybe you shift the hips a little to the right, or maybe you lift and adjust the torso. Again, the left arm can rest on something, or if it's comfortable there with the arm dangling in space, then leave it. Notice how you can soften and deepen the posture just with each cycle of breath. Using the inhale to observe the opening at the front of the heart and the front of the left shoulder. And every exhale, noticing the right hip, the back of the heart, the back of the head, getting heavier toward the ground. And simply notice here the change in your breathing. Twisting often makes it harder to breathe. And just like in challenging situations, it's a lot easier to stick with that shallow breath. But you're here and you're awake and you're alert. So breathe as deeply as you can without strain. Create space. Create a focus. Create this new way of perceiving the moment without any stress. How can you find a bit more ease here? As you have about 1 more minute in the posture. Take a deep breath in, fill up. As you exhale, start to reach that left arm up toward the ceiling and back over to the right side of your body. Press the left hand into the floor. Slowly press your way back up, and this time face your props and simply take a child's pose so that your torso or your head can rest on your blankets, whatever feels good, and you can extend the arms out. So now you're breathing equally and symmetrically into that space you've created on each side. You can breathe under the armpits without any strain in the head. This area of the lats with the arms overhead and the whole big muscle in the back that connects to the spine and the pelvis and the upper arm bones really is a strength-based muscle that we need to pull and create a strong golf swing, but it also needs to be long to get into a proper backswing. And the lats really do help you pull into any motion in your day, or many motions of your day, I should say. And so we're giving them this ability to elongate if there's been tension held in there, to open up space around the heart and create more efficient movement in the body. So keep this evenness in mind. We'll revisit it throughout the class. But take your next inhale and slowly roll back up and coming to sit on your heels. Maybe wiggling out the spine if you need to. And then let the fun continue. Set your blankets aside and trade it for your myofascial release balls or tennis balls. If you don't have these, you're simply going to repeat the roll under the abdomen that we started with, okay? And you'll know the thickness of the roll based on how easy it was last time or not. This time, if you have the tennis balls, you're going to find your belly button, and then you're going to go about 1 inch to 2 inches out, and you can feel, so you're still going to be inside the rim of the pelvis and symmetrically distanced from your belly button. So you can place the tennis balls down on the mat first, since you kind of have an idea of how far apart that is. And we're going to come to lay on the belly one more time. I recommend starting in Sphinx pose to help you find that position for the tennis balls so you can notice them even right to left and up and down. And again, we're looking for sensation, not dramatic sensation that's intolerable. It might be a little uncomfortable, it might have sensation, but again, if it's not painful, you're in the right place. So you can stay up on forearms if you think that's going to be better for you. To make it more intense, you can always come down a little bit lower and rest more of your body weight down. Again, the same breathing is going to apply here. As you inhale, you might notice the lungs expand and the belly expand, and it creates some compression of the myofascial release balls in the abdomen or the roll. And as you exhale, the whole torso can melt down, and it's almost as if the roll or those balls can suck up into the tissue of your abdomen. So inhaling, just finding that natural rhythm and letting every exhale sink you in a little more mindfully. So remember, you're down a little bit lower first, inside the rim of the pelvis, equidistant apart from the belly button, about an inch or two out. Got about a minute more here. So feel a spaciousness in the low back, a heaviness in the legs, like maybe even an enjoyment of this new sensation in the body. Knowing that this is aiding in digestion, it's reducing stress, and it's creating an openness in your gut that often helps to increase your intuition and your awareness in the moment, which actually helps to make better decisions in any area of life. That really settling into this tension or pressure without strain is the key to keep that broad perspective and the open mind to find the solutions you're looking for. Can there be a softening in the forehead, the jaw, the hands, the throat, the feet? Maybe that's trying to help this posture be sustainable. Maybe scoot back a touch so that you're only down and apart from the belly button an inch out, an inch down. Stay where you were or find this new point in the abdomen and stay. If you're on the roll, you'll probably stay in that same place just the same. Making sure you're not on any bony structures. We're using these tools to adapt and adjust the soft tissue, the fascia around the organs, around the muscles, between the muscle fibers, and underneath the skin. Take a few more cycles of breath, getting heavier still. On your next inhale, slowly take your hands under your shoulders, push your way back up. Pause for a moment to sit on your heels and just notice any new sensations in the body. Maybe allowing the hint of a smile to reach your lips as you know these changes are long lasting. We're really starting to remold the tissue in a way that's going to support you. And with that in mind, blink your eyes open if they're not already, and grab your block and have your bolster close by because we're going to need it shortly thereafter. So this time we're going to take 2 stretches on one side and then we'll switch. So we're going to take a nice myofascial release more for the lats. So we did this with the roll earlier, the blankets earlier, to create a little bit of an opening in a more gentle way. And now we're going to come into it a little bit deeper. So same leg setup applies, left knee on top of right. And we're slowly going to elongate the spine so that there's this nice sagging shape. The heaviness, the C shape of this lateral line of the body. And we're going to have one edge of the block underneath right here. You can feel it's underneath the armpit. You can feel it on the side of the serratus, really. There's musculature there. And the other half will be underneath the armpit or just here on the upper arm bone. So lats, serratus, upper arm bone here. And we're going to come down. If this is too much with just the block, then by all means, you can go ahead and take a blanket and place it over the block. And then you're just gonna rest your head in your hands. And the left hand can stay on the floor in front of you for support. And go ahead and rock a little front to back. So as you're gonna roll over the lats here, you might notice a point that feels sticky or has more tension, maybe a sweet spot, we're gonna call that, of awareness. And once you find a place that feels maybe a little tender, stay. Make sure you can breathe into it though. Notice how gravity can help pull the spine down toward the right. So it's actually creating this nice lingering shape. So you're just chilling out, watching your favorite show, chatting with a friend, letting your mind run wild, but in this nice, relaxed kind of way. Effortless here, or as effortless as you can imagine. Maybe rock a little bit front to back again. Maybe find a new spot that feels a little bit tender and stay. Got another minute here. So just breathe evenly to support the process. Maybe you can find an even count in with the breath and match that same count with your breath back out. Using that cycle to calm the mind here, letting your body know it's totally safe to let go of these old patterns that might not be serving you. Patterns in the fascia, patterns in the mind, patterns of movement. And then slowly start to rock your weight a little forward and take your right arm out from underneath your head. And now you're going to be right onto that right side pec more so. So you might have to adjust the block slightly. You're going to feel in the front pec the front of the armpit region likely. And then maybe stack your fists and create a little tender spot here, but a little bit of support with the hands. Again, if this is too much, just stay more upright. Just roll a little forward and support yourself there. But if you can stay and breathe in this fold, we're going to breathe here. Again, we get so closed off in our day-to-day experience with our shoulders forward, just by driving and being on a computer and on our phones. This is really going to create some space in the tissue here. So stay and breathe. Get heavier where you can without strain. Take 3 more cycles of breath, slow and deliberate. Use the 4th inhale to come back up just enough so you can come off of your block, set it aside, grab your bolster. If you need to place the block underneath the bolster for some extra support, you can do so. Otherwise, we're just going to stay and take a nice gentle twist, folding over your bolster. So lengthen the spine and look up, keep that length, and as you exhale, start to fold over your prop. And let your head and neck rest. This is too low to the ground, take that stack of blankets next to you and just place them on top of the bolster to raise the floor to you, to make this less intense of a twist. But again, we're really working into letting go, quieting down, wringing out the old to make space for the new here. So breathe, stay. You might notice sensations under the right armpit still vivid. Can you let the chest get heavy? Can you expand the breath into the back line of the body as you fold here? And notice how comfortably you can breathe even though the torso is still in a twist. Take a few more rounds of breathing here in your twist. Finding as much ease as you can as you settle in. Then use your next inhale to slowly press your hands into the floor, come up with your torso, and just pause for a moment laying back on your bolster. Keep the knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor, and just pause. And really just check in with what sensations are present in the body. Maybe a deeper rhythm of breath. Maybe even a nice stretch of both arms up overhead and maybe both legs out long. Just recalibrating and noticing a difference right to left. There will likely be a vivid difference, and that's a good thing. We are going to do both sides. So return your feet back to the floor if they left, and then roll over to one side and push your way up to a seat, because we're going to the second side. So again, make sure your bolster's handy. Make sure your block is ready for you. And then go ahead and come to lie on your left hip, stacking right knee on left calf. Extend the spine, so elongate, or really extend the whole left side of the body here, elongate there, and then come to rest. So the block is, half the block is on the torso side, and one edge of the block is on the upper arm bone side. So again, as your head rests in your left hand and you roll a little front to back, you're going to notice that you roll over the edge of the lat here. So this is fantastic because it's a really big muscle and it does a lot of pulling for you. And so we're going to just really take out any adhesions that might collect in the fascia. You keep the right hand in front of you the whole time if that seems like it's more supportive. Otherwise, find a spot where you notice some tenderness, where you can still stay, and then we're going to breathe and stay here. So you can just smile, settle in. Figure that we're here for a couple minutes, one in each portion. And so ideally, you want to know that you can be totally okay here. You're going to make it. And that these times in life that create a challenge, if you're like me, you often want to get through quickly, but many times to get to the solution you want, we have to peel back some layers. And even sometimes the first solution we find isn't the best one, and so we have to start unraveling to find what's going to be the real best solution or best idea moving forward. And so knowing that you can practice this skill of unraveling and awareness here just helps you do it in the more challenging situations of life when you're out there moving. You've memorized these patterns. So again, you get to stay. You can also rock back and forth again. Maybe find another point of tension. It might be leaning a little more forward. It might be leaning a little more back. It might be right in the middle. Once you find that second spot, stay. Let the body get heavier. And breathe deeply. So the spine becomes this hammock shape. And the weight of gravity helps create the opening underneath this left side body. Where can you find a bit more heaviness in the body as a base of support for the lightness that you're creating? Take a deep breath in. Exhale it out completely. And then slowly, just be mindful of where your block is in space. You're going to roll toward the front side of the block. So now we're rocking onto the pectoral muscle here before it connects to the upper arm bone. And you can stay more upright. You can also stack your fists and create a little pillow for your head. You can go down lower if that's more comfortable. But ideally, as you rock your weight forward, we're now unraveling any disorganized fibers in the fascia, helping stimulate those fibroblasts to lay down collagen in new, orderly ways. This myofascial release technique as a way of stretching the body is really a long-term process. It's not like building muscle where you can see drastic changes in just a couple weeks. Instead, it can take months to remold or reconstruct the patterns you really want in the fascia. So stick with it. This is just one practice, hopefully, of many. One step on the journey that is your life. And one habit that leads you to wellness overall with your body. 1% better at a time is a good motto to have. Take another deep round of breath here. Exhale it all out. Take your inhale. Just slowly press your hands into the floor. Just sit up a little taller with your spine. Set your block aside. Reach for your bolster. Again, we've got our second side twist folding over the bolster. So left hip is by the bolster. Your torso turns to face the bolster as you lengthen the spine. And then take that length into your forward fold and twist. So maybe close your eyes here if you have not chosen to do so in any of the postures previously. Really start to turn your attention inward. And imagine that your mind can look inside, look internally, and notice these nooks and crannies of space you're creating. You might notice it around the legs or the hips. You might be aware of it in the low back, mid back, or upper back. You might be more vividly aware of the space underneath the left armpit since you are most recently giving it some attention. Maybe even the arms, fingers, and skin on the forehead seem more spacious. But whatever you start to notice, use your breath, that consistency of breath, to start to amplify those sensations in the mind's eye. As a way simply to know yourself better, understand what your body and mind need in any given moment. And then thank yourself for being here because you're giving your body exactly what you need right now. And without much mental effort or physical exertion, can you settle into this twist a little more deeply? You've got another minute here or so. Stay with your mindful breathing. Use your next inhale to slowly make your way back up to a seated position. And we're going to move towards Shavasana, which will be your symmetrical position to clear all of this out. You can come to Shavasana on your mat. You've got blankets for underneath the legs. You roll for underneath your neck. You can even go to your wall space and take legs up the wall pose if you so desire. So find a way to unwind. If you are going to bed after this, I would recommend legs up the wall pose. It's a very delicious way to really turn inward and finish out the day in a really sweet style. Otherwise, take supported Shavasana, take regular Shavasana. Notice whatever your body is asking for. Again, the whole point here as you recline is really just to find some symmetry in the body. A place where you can be aware of the changes you've made so far and really how those changes can linger, not just immediately after this time on your yoga mat, but in the hours and days and weeks to come. So take your next inhale once you're settled in your position and fill up deeply. Take a light pause at the top of the breath and then exhale completely. So we're going to take 2 more just like that, filling up, holding at the top. Exhale, let go of any tension in the body. 3rd time's a charm, fill up deeply. Hold, but let the feet, hips, and shoulders get heavier. Breathe, exhale all the way back out. And let the body breathe itself here. Absorb the changes you've made from your practice, even on the most subtle level. Notice any sensations along the feet and the calves, the knees, upper legs and hips. Perhaps more vivid sensations around the sides of the body, sides of the torso, the front of the abdomen, the low back. even a sense of spaciousness around the heart that's beating in your chest. More of an openness around the collarbones and the front of the shoulders. That openness extending all the way down your arms to your fingertips. And a calm confidence that allows you to rest comfortably, well supported on your back here. So that as you rest, you don't need to change or fidget or move to be different, to get what you seek. You can actually let those ideas and those desires come to you as you rest here in Shavasana. You can always stay longer if you like. Otherwise, keep the body still for a moment longer and simply engage your breathing again. And then mindfully send the movement of the breath down to gentle wiggling of the fingers and toes. Maybe even a nice long stretch with the whole body. As you exhale, draw the knees into the chest and pause for a moment. Maybe even rock a little side to side. And then roll over onto one side and maybe even pause there for a moment to really just collect the sense of groundedness, of centering, of knowing who you are and what your purpose is. Even if that just means right here, right now, and how that manifests in the next moment. With that clarity, push your way to a seat. And with your eyes closed, just pause on your mat. Hands at the heart center. Pausing to acknowledge your energy and your focus and your commitment to your well-being just by showing up. By holding each pose, by breathing deliberately, by creating space in the body that really starts to allow you to move in more efficient and productive ways. And giving your mind this space, which really does open up for new possibilities moving forward. You've let go of the old. You're ready for the new. And I invite you to have fun as you step off your mat and notice how that takes shape in the next segments of your day and the days to come. Thanks for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.